Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024. And in this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you some things that I've learned about money as it relates to personal development so you can finally secure the bag if you've been struggling the past few years. Keep hope alive and tune in. You're listening to the Warrior Rulebook Podcast with me, Monique Harmon. I love helping people express themselves, protect their peace, and be confident in being them. You may also know me as Pretty Nikki, who started her online journey as a modest fashion blogger. Now I'm an entrepreneur. You'll see through my experiences and the experiences of others that change is possible, improvement is tasty, and meaningful connection is transformational. Come on, share your story with me. The stories and information presented in my podcast is not intended to take the place of medical advice from a healthcare professional. So any exercise, diet, health-related, mental health matters vary from person to person. So nothing in the podcast will be construed or used as a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Any action taken based on the contents of this podcast or the resources is solely at your own discretion, risk, and liability. So this podcast is simply here to be encouraging, but you should definitely seek a healthcare professional for additional help. Now let's get on to the show. You can have a profitable year, but you definitely have to believe it for yourself. And so let's think about like different experiences that we might have had relating to money, things like that, and try to push those aside for a little bit and try to focus more on what can happen for this year. So, my first tip I would say is do not be desperate, right? Like, I'm sure any person that you talk to needs more money. And so, like, you really don't want to be in a desperate situation where you're just like, I'll try anything to make money because it has to work. It has to be proven and it has to be a clear roadmap that is doable for you. So, just because somebody else was able to capitalize off of something doesn't mean that you're going to be able to capitalize off of something. So, you really want to make sure that you are in a good position before you start looking for other means of income. And what I mean by that is making sure that you have a main source of income. And so if something else happens, or you want to try something else, you don't feel like you have to rely on that particular thing because you already have a way of making income. So I'm just going to turn this down because I didn't know that this was still up. Okay, and so with the second thing, this was really important for me when I was getting myself together, is that you have to know the difference between a primary source of income and a supplementary piece of income, because sometimes many people can fall into this thing where they're just like, okay, I can't get any jobs. I keep getting rejected, which is a really painful process to go through. But you can be so caught up in that to the point where you're just like, I'll try anything to make money. And so some examples might be starting your own business or starting an MLM or some type of business opportunity. Maybe a friend comes to you from high school and they're just like, I have a business opportunity for you. Come out tonight, check it out. It may be worth your while. Things like that. And it's not to say that what they're involved in is a scam, because we can't say that about MLMs, but you have to make sure that whatever you're getting involved in, you already have a primary source of income that allows you the space and flexibility to be creative. Because it's very hard, let me tell you from my personal experience, it's very hard to be creative when the money is not mathing. So make sure that you have a primary source of income, whether that is from your job, something that you're not heavily involved in, so that way you can branch out and try different things. I actually used to be a Totally Spies fan. I still kind of am. And I looked at like one of the voice actors that plays Sam on the show. One of the original ones anyway. And she was saying basically the best advice that she could give to other voice actors is to make sure you have a good job where you can make the money and you can pay your bills, and then you can focus on being a voice actor on the side. You can really have that flexibility of creativity because you're not just relying on, oh, if I get this voice acting gig, then I'll be able to pay my bills. No, you want to make sure that you have a primary source of income, and then you can feel free to go do things on the creative side. And I will say for me, like with experiencing a lot of job rejection and things like that, I was just like, well, since nobody wants me, I'm going to start my own business. So that's kind of what my background was. But then, I started taking more lessons in and learning. And it's really encouraging now to see that even people that have six-figure businesses, some of them still have six-figure jobs that they're also working as well. They're some type of executive or something like that, and they're able to make even more money on the side. So that's what I'm going for, is to be working as well as being a full-time entrepreneur. Well, I guess you can't be a full-time entrepreneur if you're already having a job, but in any case, I would like to do both. So it also comes down to a balance thing, right? Because you don't want to do so many things where you're just stressed out and you don't have time to even breathe. You want to make sure that you're structuring your time, because time is money, and that's not just working for money. It's really, how are you able to structure your day where you can be profitable in other areas of your life, where you can have enriching relationships, where you're able to not only make money, but you're also able to invest in your self-care and things like that. So you want to make sure you time things out. Maybe from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., you're going to work on your business, and then, or I guess vice versa, maybe 12 to 4 if you have like a remote job or something like that, you could work those hours. But we'll just say, to keep things simple, that you work your 9 to 5, and then, make sure you have enough time to get home, eat, see the kids, things like that. And then by like 7 p.m. on to like maybe 11 p.m., you can work on your business, something like that, or where you might just work on your business for a couple hours a day, just so that you can get something done. But you don't want to be so immersed in your job where you don't have time to work on your business, because that can happen as well. And so you want to make sure that you are structuring everything where it's a balance, where you're spending some time, making sure that you are doing whatever you have to do to finish your projects at your job, and then also making sure that you have time to work on your business and you're hitting those goals. Because when it comes to doing goals and working towards them, you want to make sure that you break them up. Like, I know for me, it's easy if I break up a big goal into goals that are small. So little small checkpoints or milestones to be able to get to that bigger goal. And so when I think of it that way, it seems more doable. And I know me, if something seems like it's way too hard, then I will procrastinate and keep putting it off. And so that's another thing I'll be working on this year, is breaking things down into smaller projects so that I can actually have a prayer of getting them done. So that's what you want to make sure. Those are a lot of things that I have learned as well. And also, with certain things, another idea here is you want to link up with a financial coach, right? So some of you may have remembered that I did financial coaching a few years ago when I was pretty much right out of college. I'm not practicing it right now, but I did take a lot of valuable lessons from doing that. And one of the things was to make sure that you have way more money than what you think you need, right? Because things happen, unexpected expenses may pop up, things that you just did not plan for. And so you want to have that cash where you can just go and get it and pay for the things that you need. Because I don't think there's a lot of things that are worse than just going through something and you don't have enough money to pull out to cover yourself. You literally just have to suffer through until more money comes in. So I do know, like, when it comes to retirement planning, it is recommended that you have 7 to 10 times more of your annual income saved, so you can just have everything covered. You also want to see what you can invest in, and a financial coach can help you with that as well. A good one. Not to say that all financial coaches out there are perfect, but linking up with someone that is really good, someone that's reputable, maybe to your family, or to your coworkers or something like that, they can help you invest well, because investing is a lot better than saving money, because when you invest, then your money is able to grow for you as well. So you want something growing while you're out doing other things, so that when you come back to it, you could be like, wow, like my money actually grew. It didn't just grow by like 1% every year. So that was something that was valuable for me to learn as well. And also, you want to make sure that you pay attention to all the subscriptions you have. Maybe there might be some subscriptions that you just haven't used in a long time, and it's still taking money from your account, right? Like, who here, if you're here live, just let me know below if you know every single subscription that you have right now. Or if sometimes you look at your bank account and you're like, why was this money taken out? So that's not good. Make sure that you are checking your account, at least on a weekly basis, just to make sure, no fraud is happening, things like that. And just making sure that no unexpected purchases were taking place, because you want to be on top of your money. And it's like, how are you going to know unless you check your account? So that helps you to be able to have money as well. And you can save so much money. And also, you can do a budget if budgets work for you as well. And whatever plans that you have to spend for things, you can probably create different accounts for that as well. Um, or just kind of itemize, like, okay, this is how much money I'm saving for this thing. This is how much money I'm saving for that thing. And that can help you as well. But all of this is definitely what I've learned in order to grow more income, because you don't have to stay stuck. So I think that's the biggest message that I want to share with you, is just because, you're working somewhere and you're barely going to get a raise, or maybe they'll tell you that you're not getting a raise this year. You don't have to be stuck. There are other ways that you can try to make income that makes sense for you. And so you don't want to have to rely on, oh, this worked for so and so, this worked for so and so, so it should work for me. Like, I remember one time with a particular business opportunity, it sounded great. The person that they were talking about said, like, that they didn't have, well, the person had talked about the other person saying that they didn't have a job. And so they just went really hard on their business, and then they made all this money. That's not a typical result, right? That's a really true success story. And it's not typical. So just because, something worked for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So you definitely want to have a backup plan. And I will also say as well, try to link up with somebody that is a career coach as well, because they can help you grow in whatever career that you're trying to excel to, like whatever you need to do to make sure that you're able to talk about yourself. Because something that I think some schools fail in is like really how to articulate your value. And so you can end up being like, okay, I worked here, 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 here. And you have your whole resume and everything like structured how they told you to do it, but you're still not picked for the job. You still get that auto rejection letter. And so we really have to learn how to stand out. And so if you need suggestions, just let me know in the comments below, and I can try to send out some people that I have been blessed to connect with that have helped me. But I don't want to say them live here, because that may not work for everybody. So again, it's really who you resonate with. But there are career coaches on Instagram. There are financial coaches on Instagram, different platforms, LinkedIn as well. Like, if they are a good person, a good quality person in what they do, they're going to have a presence on multiple platforms. And so just make sure that you're aware of that, because even with me, I'm a social media strategist. So I have put myself on multiple platforms: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. I have a presence there. Because I want to make sure that I can reach as many people that I can help as possible. Not trying to reach everybody, but a specialized group. So yeah, definitely just try to follow a few mentors, see what services they have, and don't be afraid to invest. And that's what I come back to, because it's like, you have to have enough money for you to be able to invest in people. People are not just giving valuable, whole plans, whole formulas for free. You have to pay for that thing. Like, they may show up on YouTube like me and, give you valuable information. And you're like, wow, it's mind blowing. It's great. It's free. It's really to give you a starting point, but to get their time, to get their, expertise on giving you critical feedback on your personal assets, on what you're doing, that costs money. And so that's the whole point of this episode, is to be able to encourage you to make more money in a way that works for your lifestyle, that works for you, that doesn't take you outside of yourself. It's okay if something takes you kind of out of your element or out of your comfort zone, but it shouldn't take you outside of yourself to the point where you don't even recognize who you are anymore. You should still be able to have individuality in all of that and everything that you do, because you want to be proud of the work that you put out. You want to be proud of the ways that you make money. You don't want to have to be sneaky or be, conniving and things to try to make money, because that's not an honest way to make money. So just really take that to heart. If you have any questions, email me or, comment below. This is on YouTube, so I will be able to see the comments as well. But you should definitely be encouraged this year and years going forward to make sure you know what's happening with your assets. You don't want to meet somebody, let's say a coach, for example, and maybe they may not be the real deal and you don't know what's happening with your money. You want to also make sure that you're being educated within the process as well. And if you're a financial person or you're a career coach person can't explain to you what's happening, then that's kind of a red flag. So, really evaluate who you trust with your money. But above all, you want to make sure that you are making more money so that you have options. Thank you for joining me today. I see a couple of comments. Okay. I don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry. But it says, yeah, I agree, especially if a person is pouring a lot of time into you. So I think you're talking about the part where you are investing in someone, because things aren't for free. I'm going to hang around for just a couple of seconds just to make sure that I understood. Am I right in what I said? The connection? Okay, great. Yes, they said yes. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me live. And if you're listening to the replay or the recording, thanks for joining me again on the Warrior Rulebook Podcast. And I'll see you soon, Lord willing, with some new episodes. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Warrior Rulebook Podcast. If you like what you heard, share it with a friend and join me over at the Warrior Rulebook Podcast Insider Group on Facebook. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more tips on how to be resilient in this world.